Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I'm glad to be with you again. I don't know where I am in your house or in your car, at your job, maybe at the gym, maybe at the supermarket, for all I know. You might be watching at a store that sells televisions. Hello. Thanks for checking us out on Comcast Channel 56 and on Verizon Fios Channel 36. Today on the program, I am having the pleasure of shining the spotlight on a young woman by the name of Tanya Rose Davis, and she is a former colleague of mine in the radio business many years ago at WDAS, and boy does she have a story to tell. In fact, it's so important we're dedicating the whole show to telling the story of Tanya Rose Davis, the Eastwick Commandos, and all the good work that she's doing. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment to get started. Hello once again, everybody. I am ready to get started. Allow me to introduce Tanya Rose Davis, my dear friend and colleague, former colleague of WDAS many years ago. Successful businesswoman, successful head of a nonprofit organization. God gave you the vision and you were obedient. You did what he said. And my soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And sitting by her side, we have a Tanya Rose Davis production. Your beautiful daughter, Ice.
Yes.
Would it be Ice Diggy?
Yes, it is.
All
Ice
right,
Diggy.
all right. I love it. I love it. That's your stage name,
Yes, that's my
performance
stage
name.
name.
You're a spoken word artist and a rapper.
Yes.
Amongst other great things.
Yes.
A woman of many talents.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I'm so glad that you joined your mom today, and there's some more folks who are going to join us in the second portion of the program to further tell the story of the Eastwick Commandos and the Youth Enrichment Program.
Yes.
And all the good stuff you're doing.
Yes.
So where do we want to start?
Okay, so I moved into the Eastwick section of Philadelphia back in 1993, many years ago, and it was my first home. And I remember attending a community meeting because they were concerned about the teens loitering on the corners and getting into deviant behavior. I knew that it was a drug gang, and I was concerned about it. So in one of those meetings, I sort of got tired of everyone complaining about the children, but not doing anything about it. And so I stood up and challenged my community to start a program for the teens. And no one started anything but me. And so I said, you know what, let me start a drill team. And that's what I did. I started the Eastwick Commandos.
I mean, had you been in a drill team before? Oh, so you knew how to do it.
Yes,
okay,
I did. At 15, I started a drill team in my community. And it really was a nice event. I really didn't know what I was doing.
Yes.
I turned it over to another young man who didn't keep it intact, and so I left it. So yeah, I had some experience of working or drilling.
All right, so you pulled the young people together and started practicing and teaching them how to do what they do.
Yes, the first day, we put out flyers, the first day of practice, which was on a Saturday. You can't tell me young people won't come. On a Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning, I had 61 children there.
I would have wanted to faint. Oh my goodness.
And one of the young ladies you're going to hear from later on, she came along with her little brother.
So she was one of the originals?
Yes, she's one of the original Eastwick Commandos along with Alicia. Alicia, I tried to push her in the drill team. She said, no, Mom, I want to drum. I said, why drumming? She said, I want to drum. So I let her drum, and that's how she pursued the career she's in now.
Okay. Okay, so now that was in what year?
That was in 93, 1993.
That was 1993, the same year that you moved to Eastwick.
Yes.
And from then till now, you have kept it going, and you've got other people who do the day-to-day work, because you're a busy, busy, successful businesswoman, so you can't do everything. But that's when you find good people that you can trust, that you can say, here, you do this, you lead this.
Well, and I've been blessed, you know, quite often, you know, I was working in radio, I was an account executive, and that took up most of your time. Pressure. You have no life when you're in radio. And, but my heart was, I was driven to work with these young people because they were so sweet. and so given, and I didn't understand at the time why I was moved in this direction, but God blessed me. I was actually doing it not only because I wanted to know who my daughter was going to be with as friends, but also I did it because they wanted to do it. So they pushed me to do it.
Yes.
And from that, they performed in front of former President Clinton. They opened up the Wachovia Center. They've been all over the country. And they were known as renowned leaders. And the judge, one of our former, well, he's not a former judge, he's a current judge. He's also present. And I just think that too often we don't dedicate our time. I didn't really have the time, but I made the time. And God enabled me to have the time, along with Alicia sharing with me in my dream and vision to work with the children.
Now, back on October the 7th, which just passed,
Okay.
you had a fabulous event. It was a fundraiser event for your organization, Youth Enrichment Program. It took place down in South Philadelphia at a venue I've never been to before. Absolutely beautiful venue. Yes. And there was a young woman that you introduced there who was studying to be a doctor, and she said, come 2020, she is going to be Dr. Hill, I think is her last name. And she's another one of your babies that grew up out of the Eastwick Commandos program.
That's correct. Imanya actually started in our drill team at 6. And they were taught to believe that they could do anything if they tried. That was our motto.
Yes.
They were taught to be leaders. They knew education was the #1 priority.
Yes.
You could not drill if you did not at least have a C average. And to me, that was low standard, but I aimed for that.
Yes.
We would have tutoring in my house on a Sunday. And so she was not one of the children who was there for those tutoring sessions, but she said she was inspired by the drill team. We taught her the leadership, the discipline, and she's taken that with her throughout her schooling. So I was brought to tears on Saturday when I saw her, because to see them grow and to be leaders in the community and to make a name for themselves and pride themselves on their education, that to me is the blessing. That's the thank you. Wonderful. I don't need anything else.
That's absolutely it. That's the pay right there. So now, YEP, when did that birth? Because it was a little after the Eastwick Commandos, and you saw a greater need.
Yes. What happened was my mother saw the drill team, and she said, my nickname is Tony. She said, Tony, you need to look into receiving grants. She said, but you have to get your 501c3. I didn't see the importance of getting a 501c3. I was just working with a drill team. And so what I did was, she said, I'll set up your 501c3, and she did so. So really, my mother was a co-founder. I just lost my mother on June 30th, and she, when your mom is here, you really don't understand how much of an impact they make on your life until they're gone. And she used to always say, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone, and I do miss her. She was tough, but she gave me this tough skin that I have today and the values that I have in life.
Well, I wasn't lucky enough to meet your mom, but in knowing you, my sister, I know how strong she was. And in seeing your daughter perform this past weekend and dedicate her song to your mom, I said, wow, your mom was some kind of special. So it's great that Ice Diggy got that. She got that too. She got that. So, thank you for sharing.
Yes. And so the 501c started, and so that's how youth enrichment programs came about. It actually started out as just a thought, and now it's a big organization, not a big, but it's a large organization.
It's really coming along. You got an impressive board of directors that look like they're really working board members.
Yes,
they don't look like they're the ones that just show up for a party. They look like they do some work in advance of.
Yeah, they do. Thanks to my pushing, I think they get tired of me sometimes. Every time they turn around, I'm asking. But that's what you have to do. You have to encourage people. But I'm very proud of them as well. They could do other things in their lives, but they choose to work with youth enrichment programs, volunteering their time to further my dreams, not only my dreams, the children's dreams. And I'm so proud of my daughter and how she's grown, because she's also a leader, and with her poetry and everything. So.
Oh, at which point I think we should hear a little bit of poetry, and then we'll come back to you as we wrap up this segment. Again, I was so impressed with your presence, where you carried yourself from the audio you all provided, professional sounding audio with no no squeaks while the program was going on. You all were smooth and supporting all the other entertainers that were there, and then to perform yourself. That was the icing on the cake. So I know you're going to be doing some great new things down south for a minute coming up, and I'm going to be praying for you. We're going to be wishing you all the best as you go take on ATL and show them what Philly got, girl. And give us something right now.
Okay. So I'm going to do a poem called Young King, and it's actually out of my new poetry book called Soul 7 Poetry for the Soul of Black Diaries. Okay? Young King, do you know who you are? You are powerful, more mesmerizing than a galaxy of stars, shining bright like night stars, more than the average by far. You are a leader. You are an achiever. You are unbeatable when your mind speaks freedom. Society is deceiving, labeled you a statistic, created environments where your mind feels less than prolific. You are not your past mistakes. You are not a disgrace. You are a proud symbol of an ancient race. Take your place. You come from a land of kings. Your strength has been bought and sold to men. Scared of your excellence, branded your style, yet questioned your trials. You're nothing less than tremendous. You're spontaneous, creative genius in the making, unbelievably bright and sustaining. You're nothing less than amazing. Why do you think they're hating? Their opinions are degrading. Listen not to their sayings. You are creative and fascinating. You have the ability to conquer anything. You could be the dream you dreamed you'd be. Stand in your power. Emancipated, never duplicated, and illuminate a world that you helped create it. Yet history books never stated it. Hold your head high. You're a natural born hero. Equality and justice, freedom's black male leaders turned criminal hero. You stood for something more than the norm. Revolutionary presence in human form. Never forget who you are. Liberated, renowned, worldwide superstar. You are not hate. You are something to celebrate. History created the yellow tape. Divided, conquered, and created separations within the human race. Hold your head high. You are shining light in the dark skies. You have every reason to look any man in their eyes. Powerful, poised, reflection of ancestor spiritual cries. Stop letting them create your character. You're more than basketball, rap, and selling powder. Knowledge is power. Stop falling to the propaganda and current standards, marking you a failure before you had the chance to understand this. You are the knight who saved the queen. You are the strength that fought for a dream. You are the fighter who won despite discriminations and schemes. You are the voice of black men, a united force of accomplished dreams. You are the first black president. You are the benevolent order of protection from your own lethal weapon. Who are you, young king? There is no question. You are a blessing. And that's it.
Come on now, pound on that, pound on that. That's what's up. Watch out, Atlanta, here she comes, here she comes. We're going to see you on TV1 and on BET and on all those other channels, Magic Johnson's channel and Aspire. Oh, I can see you, I can see it now. And we can say, she came over here to LaSalle TV first. I love it. All the best. And to our viewing audience, not only is she a spoken word artist who writes her own, but also she is a rapper. And so big things coming for Ice Diggy. I love it. Faith 444.
Thank you.
And Tanya, I know you got to be proud.
Yes, I am so very proud.
We have not that much time left. We are going to continue talking about you and talking about the Eastwick Commandos in our next segment as two more wonderful guests come forward. But real quick, a successful businesswoman. If there's people viewing right now and they've always dreamed of, I want to be in business, I want to have my own business. Doesn't matter so much what kind of business it is. She has daycare centers that are very successful in Philadelphia. But give us one or two quick tips.
I would say you have to be focused. You have to be very focused, and you have to be willing to work hard. You cannot deviate from your dream. I would say those are the two main factors in pursuing your goals.
All right, well, continued success to you, Soror, and we're going to keep shining the spotlight as we talk more about your vision and how you birthed it, the Eastwick Commandos, the YEP program, Youth Enrichment Program, and even your business, which is called
Discovery Place Preschools.
Yes.
And we also have the Enrich After School Clubs. And we also work with the teen scholars.
That's right, lifting up our young people all the time. Ice, you take care of yourself.
Thank
and
you.
Tanya Rose Davis, you too. We're going to keep this subject going next. Stay with us because we've got coming up.
We have Alicia Bradshaw, a former and a current member of Eastwick Commandos.
And one of the originals. She was one of the originals? All right.
Yes.
And
Mr. Arthur Osborne. He's one of the world-class judges.
all right now, that's what we'll do. When we come right back, you all stay with us. Don't go away. Channel 56 on Comcast and Channel 36 on Verizon Fios.
Hi, this is Eddie Dunn, host of LaSalle's favorite TV game show, Q&A. I'm here today to tell you to watch LaSalle TV. Though if you're seeing this commercial, that means you're already watching LaSalle TV. So I guess keep it up. You're doing an awesome job. I hope you like what you're seeing. Good job.
The soccer team likes your eyeliner like that too. Is that right?
Hello, folks. We are back as we continue talking about the Eastwick Commandos, about this world of drilling anyway, and marching. Quite interesting indeed. So in this segment, I have an official judge who judges all over the place, not just here in Philadelphia, Mr. Arthur Osborne.
Correct.
Okay. And then we have Miss Alicia.
Yes.
And your last name is Stack.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Bradshaw. Thank you for being here. And you're the lady who was with the original Eastwick drill team when Tanya Rose Davis first got started in 1993?
Yes.
Tell us a
So
little bit.
when Miss Tanya got started with the drill team, I was 10 years old. I went to practice along with my little brother, and it was something that we never experienced before. You know, there were other kids there. There were other kids there, and I even brought along some friends from around the neighborhood because it's something that we had to be a part of, and we wanted to be a part
Yes.
of. Yeah.
It was amazing to me how she said that very first class on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m., boom, 60-some children showed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we all showed up. You know, we didn't know what to expect when we went to this drill team practice, but I'm thankful that we did go and we stuck with it because being a drill team, it just, you know, it changed our lives.
Yeah. So, and Miss Tanya and the other adults who were part of nurturing and mentoring you all and teaching you how to drill, they instilled a little bit more in you than just these are the steps and this is what I want you to do. They taught you some life lessons maybe?
Yes, so with our drill team, Ms. Tanya instilled in us education was very important. Unfortunately, I was one of the ones that had to go to Ms. Tanya's tutoring session on Sundays.
Well, praise God for 'em.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I was about to say that it was definitely a blessing because you know, she would not allow us to drill if our grades weren't up to par. And she meant that, you know, and I was one of the ones that I can say that I was a good driller.
Yes.
And she didn't care. You know, I had to stay out until my grades were pulled up, you know, and that went with me up until, you know, throughout all my education.
And now you're a woman working on your master's degree.
I
Go
am.
ahead. Go
Thank
ahead.
you
Go
so
ahead. That's
much.
what's up.
Yes.
So to
Yes.
have somebody instill in you, I know your parents were doing it from home, but
Yes.
sometimes we need more reinforcements than that. We need more than just our parents or the minister at our church or the imam at our mosque or what have you.
Yes.
We need some other folks. And so
Yes.
that's where people like a Tanya Rose Davis comes into
Definitely.
play.
And
Yeah.
Miss Rose and my mom, they're really good friends. So, you know, even when there were times when I wanted to quit drill team, you know, my mom said, "Oh no, you're going back." You know, so you know, it was just an all around blessing to be a part of what she had going on. Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we started taping today, Mr. Osborne, I was sharing with Tanya, said, don't ever ask me to judge anything anywhere, because years ago it was Kim Fuller out of West Philadelphia who sucked me in to judge a big drill team competition at Overbrook High School. I will never forget it. And the hardest, toughest part of it was that everybody couldn't win, that everybody couldn't get the prize. And I want everybody to win. That's just my personality. And so I said, never again. And ever since then, when people ask me, do you want to judge something? I'm like, nope, I don't even want to judge. But you do it, and you do it not just here in Philly.
Right, that is correct. World Class has judged everywhere from Boston all the way down to Florida and as far west as Chicago. So we have a vast amount of judges that are in different pockets of the country so that we can facilitate competitions. But one of the things that World Class does that some of the other judging associations don't do is that we actually focus on urban youth, because we all started from drill teams, and then we advanced to other forms of marching, and then now, you know, teach somewhere or judge. And when we were in the urban drill teams back when, all we did was Philadelphia, but I wanted them to grow. So that's why when I had the opportunity to start working with the teams here in Philadelphia and surrounding areas, it was an opportunity to help them get better, as well as get the kids traveling so that they can see other forms of marching, as well as see someplace else besides Philadelphia.
Yes. So now, I imagine you have the whole roster of dates coming up around the area where there will be some drill activities. So maybe there's some people viewing the show right now who maybe don't necessarily want to drill or aren't ready to make that commitment, because it takes time. You got to practice, you got to rehearse, you got to do all the stuff. But maybe they want to just come and be in the stands and enjoy one of these competitions. So anything that's coming up that we can put out there to the
There is one coming up
universe?
really soon in November the 19th at Alden Reed High School out in South Philly, where it's going to be a stellar competition. So I would invite everyone to come out and enjoy, because they don't play as loud as they used to, because they have a lot more training now.
Thank God.
When we first started, you know, they were they didn't know rudiments and things like
Yes.
that. So now that World Class has been around, people are getting a little bit more education. So
Okay, so it's
things are-
November the 19th at Alden Reed
Reed
High
High
School.
School.
That's down in South Philadelphia, over by 33rd and Tasker, right around there.
Yes.
But what's the time?
It starts at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
2 o'clock.
Is it a ticketed event? You got to buy a ticket to come in?
It is a ticketed event, and I'm not sure the prices.
But I bet it's reasonable. It's
It is
affordable. It's
definitely
not like
reasonable.
going to a
I believe-
concert
Yeah.
out
No,
by
no,
the-
oh no,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should
okay,
be
so people can afford it. It's a family atmosphere,
It's
I
a
would
family
imagine.
atmosphere.
And a
You
whole
can
lot
bring
of
the
fun.
whole family
Yeah,
and have
yeah.
a great time.
Okay,
Yeah.
this sounds very, very good. And if people want to know about other events, even beyond November, or maybe they want to know, well, where are the drill teams? I see them out in the summertime at, you know, summer festivals and events, but I want to sign my young person up. I don't know where to start or who to go to. Is there a directory of drill teams, or can they call you or log onto a website to see, I live in West Philly, what's near me, or I live in Germantown, what's near me?
One of the unique things that we're going to be doing at the Marching Classic Explosions that will be starting in November is actually offering a talk back at the end of the competition, so that, say you brought your family and now you want to get your kids in a drill team, we can point you in the right direction. Or if there's not a drill team in your area, we'll be there to help you start and tell you the steps to take to get that started. So those are one of the unique things that we'll be doing at these competitions that's coming up, as well as you can go to worldclassjudges.org and there are some dates listed on there.
And I also noticed that every year, somebody, or more than one somebody, will call me desperate. I need a drill team. I need a couple of drill teams. We're having our festival. We want the drill team to open up the festival and march into the park and this and that and the other. So it just seems like to me there's a need for some kind of a directory. Or are you two the central point people for the whole city or what? She's saying, don't put out my number.
People contact me quite often for parades and things like that, and you may also see the drill teams on the corner begging for money and things like that. And one of the reasons that's happening is because they're getting locked out of so many places. Like drill teams are actually dying in some ways because of a lack of practice space and
support.
Schools that want to open up and let you have a competition. But yes, you can contact me or Tanya Rose Davis if you need a drill team.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if there's a website that we could put out or not.
Oh, worldclassjudges.org.
There we go. That's where we'll allow people to start.
Worldclassjudges.org.
Worldclassjudges.org. That's how you can find out how you can maybe plug into one of these talented drill teams. We got a ton of them in Philadelphia. Like, dare to say, how many drill teams?
In Philadelphia alone, I would say there are about 45. If you go into our tri-state, Jersey, and Delaware, then you're taking it up at 100 or so. And if you go into New York, then you're in the 200. So they're out there.
Yes, I think it's a great discipline. And like you were sharing, it's a positive thing to get young people involved, and the discipline part of it is what I really like. But then when you have instructors like a Tanya Rose Davis and other people that work with your groups, they instill so much more in the young people. So that's important. That is, we need that to help save our kids at this time in our country, in our city, in the history of the violence and all that. We got to give them positive things to do. Yep. I thank you both for joining us so very much. It's a pleasure meeting you. My pleasure meeting the judge. That's what's up. Okay. We are all out of time, folks, for this edition of News You Can Use, but I want to thank Tanya Rose Davis again and her daughter Ice, and you too as well, for being on this special edition of our program. And God says so. And we'll be back next time with another edition of News You Can Use. And we also want to remind you can check out our radio program on WURD Mondays through Fridays, 6 to 7 a.m. That's called Daybreak on Word. You can also watch it on Facebook Live all day long, 5 days a week. We're there for you. Remember, everybody, that life is fragile. Handle it with prayer, and take care. Bye-bye. Thank you again. Hey, don't go anywhere.